When the Nintendo Entertainment System was in its prime, my friends and I always talked about the latest and greatest action games. Titles like Bionic Commando, Ninja Gaiden, Mega Man, and countless others monopolized our attention at the time. One of the most unexpected ones that caught my interest back then was Metal Storm, which was one of the few games I know of that came out in North America before it hit shelves in Japan. Developed by the tiny studio Tamtex and published by Irem, it stood out in several ways. I mean it when I say this one was stylistically unique. Metal Storm, unlike every other game from the era, uses a mechanic whereby you can switch gravity so your cyborg clings to the ceiling. To do this, you just press up on the D-pad plus the jump button. This opens up more angles to make it through the levels, which are specifically designed with this mechanic in mind. You had to keep switching back and forth, and it's a bit tricky to get used to, but really is the primary factor that made this title so distinct. You can even jump and do the gravity effect while in mid-air too, which you'll need to do in some areas. The only downside is that the game uses a lot of bold colors, and it's not always clear what places you can and cannot transition through. There are 7 stages total, but each stage has 2 acts, so they're longer than some levels in other NES games. After completing both acts in each stage, you face a unique boss in a sedentary enclosed area. The gameplay for bosses functions a bit differently from normal gameplay, but you will have to make use of the anti-gravity effect and aim your cannon upward at times to defeat them. Metal Storm isn't a very long game. It's pretty difficult though, and like many other NES games, there are one-hit kills. If you tend to get frustrated easily, it's a rough one. But the game does offer unlimited continues, so it's definitely not as punishing as some of the other action games like it. This kind of challenge hasn't aged well, but it is what we all grew up with and expected back then, to be sure. In terms of the story, it's the year 2051, and mankind has colonized the solar system. A defense system on Pluto unexpectedly turned itself against mankind, and has completely destroyed Neptune. So what do you know? It's up to you to enter the Pluto base and use your weaponry to save the world. Great! That sounded pretty exciting in the days I rented the game and picked up a 6-pack of Surge on the way home. Beyond the innovative gravity system is a series of power-ups that added yet another dimension to this game. There's a shield you can use to protect yourself, armor boosts, and a power beam to blast through walls and defenders. The coolest one though was the Fireball, which turns you into a flaming heap of cyborg while you transition between the ceiling and floor, which damages all enemies you strike in the process. Metal Storm looked pretty good for an NES game, and it made use of some impressive layering effects to make the stages look like they have depth. This is really noticeable, and it's a step beyond what almost all other NES games did. The controls feel pretty smooth too, and the cyborg animations as you walk and jump are pretty crisp. The price of Metal Storm has skyrocketed in recent years, and original cartridges go for a hefty sum of about $150 in 2022. That's really steep compared to most other titles on the system. Amazingly, the game was re-released as a special collector's edition in 2019 that included a host of extras, including an awesome box, some great artwork, an enamel pin, and even a character figurine. It was a limited edition, but you can still find it for about the same price as the original cart, so that's pretty darn cool. It'd be a true gift for retro gaming fans for this kind of re-release to be done for other games from that era. So way to set the example, Metal Storm. Even though it's not too highly touted, Metal Storm did get its fair share of attention when it was released. Nintendo Power featured it on the front cover of issue 22, which is actually the way I originally learned about it. Famitsu, Japan's leading gaming magazine at the time, actually rated the game pretty poorly, giving it a 24 out of 40. Still, most North American fans seem to really like it. It's an absolute hidden gem, and it's a true crime this game isn't talked about more. I know a lot of you out there probably haven't seen or played this one, but please, do yourself a favor and correct that. It's really one of the best NES action platformers in my mind. But what do you think? If you played Metal Storm, what was the most memorable aspect? If you haven't, what looks interesting about it? If you like the kind of videos I do, it would mean the world to me if you subscribe to my channel and like this video. Also, please join my Discord community linked in the description and consider supporting my channel via YouTube's Join feature to receive member exclusives, such as advanced videos and complete video transcripts.